Welcome back, everyone. We are live on this lovely sunny Sunday evening. We have Richard the Third. I'm going to call you tonight, Richard. We're going to have a little bit of rhyming stain tonight. We've got Richard the Third.
Don't go anywhere with that Richard the Third bit, Paul. That's all you say on that, right?
And we've got, let's have a little think. We've got the Angel of Epping. We've got Sarah back from Epping. So not only tonight, guys, not only are we going to bring you a bit of drama, a little bit of fun, we're going to bring you some videos and some chat. I'm also bringing some panto tonight, Richard.
Oh, no, you're not.
Beauty and the Beast. What do you think? I couldn't resist.
Saying bad things about yourself, mate. Yeah, just stop it. It's not
on. Right, okay. So it's actually Sarah's debut as in a group live stream. So, Sarah, I would say, are you a little bit nervous? But after appearing on stage in front of 2 million people last week, live across the world, I guess this is a bit of a cakewalk. Enjoy it? Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I'm still buzzing now. Absolutely. It was the best feeling ever. I will remember that for the rest of my life. And there was things as I got off, I was like, oh, I should have done this or I should have said that. And unfortunately, you can't just run back on and do what you wanted to do. But I
forgot to say this. Can I go back on?
Sorry, Tommy. Just wait a minute, mate.
Was you nervous, Sarah, going on?
You know what? Everyone kept saying to me, "Are you nervous?" And I said, "I'm not one bit nervous. I love a bit of being up front and putting on a bit of a show." But I knew that once I got on that stage, I knew that the adrenaline was going to kick in, and it did. I could feel the adrenaline, and I could feel that it was passion that I was, with what I was speaking about, and it was amazing.
Well, Richard,
next year.
Richard's certainly not one that I associate with nerves when he goes on stage and talking. But let me tell you a little story of what our dear friend Tommy did to me. I think it was the Trafalgar Square demo. So he messaged me about 3 days before the demo. He said, "Paul, I want you to speak about this topic, right?" And he knows I don't like speaking. I don't like speaking on stage. I can do it like this, but get me on stage, I'm a quivering wreck, right? So I thought, right, okay. So I've got my speech on my phone, exactly like he wanted me to talk about a subject, and there it is on my phone. And then, just as I'm announced I'm coming up next, he got on stage and did exactly the speech on the subject that he asked me to bloody talk about. So at the last minute, obviously he'd forgotten, right? At the last minute, with about 30 seconds to go, I had to change my topic. That is nerve-wracking, I'll tell you. That's not a lot of fun, that. So since then, I don't think I've spoken on stage, and I plan on keeping it that way. Oh dear. So what's been going on, Richard? I gather you've been saving a life today.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, okay. So normally on a Sunday, I go to church, right? And I've got this lurgy thing. I thought if I go to church today, I'm going to infect Aunt Bessie and Granny Sarah or whoever it is, and not that you're a Granny Sarah. That just came out. That was a total Freudian slip. I'm going to infect someone with allergy, and probably they're going to die in their sleep during the week. So I thought I better not go to church. So instead of going to church, I went for a walk in the park, and I was going to make some videos about the Palestine thing and the church thing, the way the church leaders have been slagging us all off for the United Kingdom thing. And I get around the corner at the park, and there's this little crew, and they look like they want to be London street roadmen, you know what I mean? They look like they want to be little gangsters. They've all got their hoodies up and masks up and everything. I think it's a bit weird on a Sunday afternoon. And there's this little kid that just doesn't look like he fits in. Anyway, I was just too focused on trying to get my camera ready and what have you. And I walked about 20 yards, and I just heard a whole lot of yelping and punching and kicking. I turned around, this little firm, about 6 lads, kicking the crap out of this kid. I went, no, you can't have that on a Sunday afternoon, like, you know what I mean? So I just went over, and to be honest with you, it's probably, I don't see how anybody could walk away from that, because he was literally, you could just tell he was just that, he wasn't the sort of kid that would be fighting with those sort of little wannabe gangsters. So I just started shouting. I said, leave him alone. And obviously, because I'm a public speaker, I can like you, Sarah, I can talk quite loud. They all looked up, must have thought I was a thug or a cop or something.
And
Thought I was a lot
bellow, you
harder than I
can
looked.
bellow, yeah, go on.
Yeah,
go on.
and they legged it. Apart from one lad who ran up, tried to take a swing at the kid as he was running away towards me, fell over, and then he legged it as well. And so, but they were really getting laced into him. And I says, mate, do you know those kids? No, I don't know them. And whether he did or not, I mean, who knows? Maybe it was a drug debt or whatever. I'm not sure what was going on, but it didn't look like that sort of kid. He just like vulnerable sort of youngster that they were picking on, showing off in front of the girlfriends or whatever. And he says to me, he says, "Can I walk through the park with you?" And I says, "Yeah." And I just kind of bigged him up because he did kind of stand up to him as well. You know what I mean? He didn't just roll over and get the ball on the floor and get kicked. He was trying to fight back, and I was just thinking, "You're going to get really hurt here, son." You know what I mean? But so that was my good Samaritan deed for the day. And I just think if you're ever in that situation, you've got to do something. You can't just walk on and just leave a kid to get absolutely, because that could have been my son. I know when I was a kid, I used to get kickings like that, and it's not nice when a whole lot of kids jump on you and start, you know.
No, well done, Richard. Guardian Mose and Christ Kingdom. Good evening, Paul, Richard, and Sarah. If you haven't already subscribed to Guardian Mose channel, please do so.
He's a good lad.
He's a good lad. We've not always seen eye to eye, but he's a good lad.
He likes me, Paul.
That's democracy, isn't it?
Exactly.
Free speech.
Exactly.
Free speech. Let's say something bad about Paul on his channel.
We got a couple of images to go through before we start tonight's show. Let's have a little look. Oh, the Lib Dem conference has started, and Stand Up to Racism have brought out their new placards for 2025.
Yeah.
Refugees are welcome, just not at my house. First video of the evening, because this has been the major talking point of the weekend that I can see. Let's just remind ourselves of the video that's been doing the rounds just about everywhere. I might not even play it in its entirety because everyone's seen it, but it is, of course, this video.
What was it?
Sorry, I don't like the camera. You can have a body cam. I can exhibit that to you. I just don't like the camera, really.
Okay, well, I'm doing this because this is my own house, and I am telling you why I'm doing it. So I just need to know why would she's basically viewed a post which is not an arrestable offence.
Viewed an offence, that's good.
Okay.
It happened in May, and you're completely fine. The only thing is, we need to seize the phone at this current moment. The phone needs to get seized from us, otherwise we will escalate this further. So,
but with a voluntary interview. So have you seized anyone else? Is she the only child?
Can't hear you, Paul.
I'm not going to play it in its entirety because everyone's seen it, and we've all seen everyone up in arms about it. But look, on this show, I like to bring you the truth, and we're not into just knocking the police for any reason that we can find. Now, there's a statement been issued by the police there with regards to that, and I think it's worth reading out because it puts an entirely new light on that video, which, by the way, has been heavily edited. Now, I'm not criticising the person that put the video out. The bottom line is we don't know the full story. But this is from Walsall Police. It says, we are aware of reports that we are investigating a child in Walsall for viewing a social media post. This is completely incorrect. We are investigating after a complaint from a member of the public that a fake social media account had been created in their name and then had been used to send indecent messages. The offence being investigated is one of malicious communications, sending indecent or grossly offensive communication to cause distress or anxiety. The messages are of an incredibly serious nature and have caused serious concern for the victim. Officers made a number of attempts to speak to the suspect, a teenage girl, at her home address in Walsall earlier this month. As part of the investigation on September the 13th, we spoke to the girl's mother at her home and explained that we needed to speak to her daughter and recover her mobile phone as part of the investigation. The following day, the girl attended a police station for a voluntary interview and the investigation continues. We are aware of a brief and heavily edited video clip showing part of the 13th of September visit. The clip is misleading, and we have reviewed a 10-minute body-worn recording showing the full exchange. Now, you know, at the end of the day, if you take that statement from the police at face value, which I think we have to at the moment, we have to take it on face value. The criticisms that have been aimed at the police today, those two police officers in particular, could well turn out to be hugely unfair. Now, there are issues for me within that video, the way the house was entered, etc. And Black Belt Barrister did a magnificent breakdown of the legalities of that video earlier. But the bottom line is this, for me, could be, and I'll come to you first on this one, Richard, this could be a case where social media is actually not quite telling us the truth.
Well, I mean, we saw it last Saturday, Paul, where people were basically blaming the police for all sorts of stuff. And as far as I could see, the command team that we were working with did everything they did for public safety. You know, some of the riot cops got a bit leery, and that's not acceptable. But, you know, the way they were handling that massive crowd, I think, you know, like we were saying earlier, saved people's lives, you know, because it was such a big crowd and the people had to go somewhere, you know. So, you know, if you look at it in the light of that, and there was loads going on on social media saying, oh, the police stitched everyone up, the police nearly caused riots and all the rest of it. It's just not true. It's just not true. So I think, yes, that could be the case. The problem the police have got is, Paul, because there's been so many ridiculous arrests. I mean, we had someone on Friday, I think it was, got 2 years in jail for basically violent disorder for saying, Alan, who the F is Alan, right? And we all know what I'm talking about there. Yeah. And which to me is just ridiculous. That is a, you know, so when the police put a statement out, the problem is we all take it with a pinch of salt. So until I see everything and know everything, you know, I'm not going to comment on it one with it. I shared it, and I was quite critical when I shared it because, again, I didn't know the background of it. But I'll probably delete it from X now until I know exactly what the situation is. Because I think what we've got to be careful of, Paul, right, is we're always talking about truth and free speech and telling the truth and basically trying to give people the full story because we know that the mainstream media is shafting us and lying about us and all the rest of it. But if we start lying with our posts or putting things up just for propaganda, then we're as bad as the mainstream media.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So I think what you've done there is really good, Paul, to give the context of that, because I didn't have a clue, because I just reposted it saying, look at this, you know, it's Sharia police and Stasi Barbie, you know what I mean? Which probably wasn't fair in hindsight.
No, I mean, you know, like I say, giving a bit of heart. This is why I always like to try and sit back a little while, Sarah, and just be sure of what we're seeing. I mean, look, the issues that I had with that video, there are 2 or 3, and I'll tell you what they were, and none of them were really anything to do with the actual case itself. Yeah. I mean, when I look at the age of those young girls, Christ almighty, it makes me feel old. They look like they're fresh out of school. But, you know, fair play to them. If they're out there doing dangerous jobs at that age, you know, they got more balls than most women. So, you know, fair play to them. The other thing is that, you know, when one of the officers said she didn't really want the camera in her face, well, I'm sorry, tough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's, exactly. That. Yeah, totally right. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one was the way they potentially entered the house. But like I said, ultimately, we must put out the truth as far as we know it. And earlier on, you know, those police officers were getting an absolute hammering from everyone. And I think Andy the Gabby Cabby may well be putting this right as well tonight. He's a good lad, Andy. But Sarah, what did you make of the, well, first of all, as a mum, can you relate to, you know, the concern that online hate and potential fake accounts can do to our youngsters? Because I'm sure we've all seen it.
Yeah, I think it's horrendous how mainstream media, these fake social media accounts have to be stopped one way or another. They can stop people sending out racial statements, but they can't stop anything that could be related to child pornography or stuff like that, or indecent images. And, you know, online bullying is a real thing. And we know that there's been lots of children that have committed suicide down to social media accounts and bullying online, and it's awful. Thankfully, none of my children have ever been a victim of it, but I would also hope that none of my children have been the ones causing anything like that. And I would put my hand on my heart and believe that my children aren't like that. When I see that video earlier, like most people, the first reaction was that them police officers, I don't care whether they're police or not, they ain't entering my house without a warrant.
Yeah.
And for her first statement, when she said, I'd appreciate it if you stop filming me. Well, like you said, it's not going to happen. You're wearing a body cam, so what's to stop me from filming? Because we do know police quite often say, oh, sorry, my body cam wasn't working.
Yeah.
And you haven't got the evidence. Their attitude as they come to the front door, I just didn't like it. Like you said, there isn't the true story. And this is the problem with social media, that people can just put out what they want. They can edit clips and it's not true and it's not factual. So until we actually know what's really happened, it's hard to criticize it, really, because we're being shown something and obviously it's not the full truth.
Exactly. And the thing is, Sarah, as well, in this day and age, if you start making comments about something that isn't true and you give an opinion, you can end up in bloody jail, right? I mean, it's like, look what happened after Southport. Rumours were flying around about this, that and the other. People who were then repeating those allegations got themselves into some deep difficulty. So, and we've also got bloody AI to contend with as well now. I mean, it's really concerning. I mean, how do you verify these stories on a lot of occasions? Yeah,
how do you verify them? And basically, you would hope that if I was that parent and I was filming that, I'd put up the whole video, because the whole video is going to give the real context of what's gone on. And then you can hold your head up high and go, this is what happened. Yeah, I might have got a little bit of shirty towards the old Bill. Fair enough. Or they've said what they've accused my daughter of. I wouldn't care, because if I'd be wanting to put it out there, is the mother now trying to hide something? Now we don't know, because
we don't know. Yeah.
But also, I know that the police are reluctant to be truthful when they release statements. Yeah. And this is the other problem we've got. We've seen from Epping this week, there's been things go on there where the police have totally denied anything happening. And it's like, how are you denying that? How are you changing the story? Because you're now making certain members of the public believe something else, because we know that a lot of people believe the mainstream media and they believe the police. However, both are corrupt in their own way.
This is the breakdown in trust that we now have with the police, isn't it? I mean, years ago, if the police issued a statement like that, you'd read it and you go, fair enough, and you'd probably just walk away and leave it. I'm not saying they were perfect in years gone by, but because they clearly weren't. But
do you know what I think it is, Paul? I think there's a disconnect between the sort of middle-ranking coppers and some of the lower-ranking coppers and the chief constable, deputy chief constable, and their PR team, because the Met were putting stuff out on Saturday, straight away about the violence. They weren't putting anything about, how well the event had gone. Whereas it's not a Hill Carnival, 250 arrests or 500 arrests or whatever it was.
547, I believe.
500, over 500,
yeah. Exactly, right. So, and they're giving it, this was a great, family-friendly event, the Notting Hill Carnival. Ours, which was a family-friendly event, all they're talking about is a little bit of a scuffle at two police lines, which, let's get it right. If you're going to have protesters and police with riot shields, there is going to be some aggro. It's just
confrontation. Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys have caught what's been going on over the weekend in Paris, but it makes last week look like a child's tea party. So
I haven't seen it.
No, it's pretty bad out there. But I mean, I tell you what, guys, I think it's even more worse than that. If you don't mind me saying, I tell you what I believe. I think we could be very close to there being a massive split within police services altogether, because what we've got now, and I spoke about this in a video that I released earlier today about the Palestine issue, and I don't want to go too deeply into that one tonight because I've already done a video on that today. But what you're clearly going to have is a percentage of it within the police service that would be backing the Palestine cause, and you're going to have a percentage of officers serving that do not support that cause and are quite anti that cause. Now, the difficulty is that when they go on duty, they've all got to either stop talking about it and not discuss it whatsoever and get on with their job, or eventually somebody's feelings and their thoughts and their inner beliefs are gonna come out. They're gonna be made known, and surely that's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a massive problem.
I think so.
And there is a divide within the police force. You can already see as well, a lot of the younger police officers that they're bringing in, they don't have the life experiences of what people used to have when they joined the police force. They're not, and you know, our police force was something to be like you say, feared of, you know, you wouldn't do anything wrong. And they was all like 6 foot, tonked up, like, and you would be scared of them. Now you've got women smaller than me. Like some of them, I don't even know how they passed the bleep test, because there's no way they could do any running. And that's not me like body shaming anyone, but you've got to be realistic. If you're going to be chasing down some big, like 6'6" man, what hope have you got when you reach? If you manage to catch him, what are you going to do? Because what am I going to do against either of you two? You'd push me over. You know, but in the police as well, you've got the younger ones that are very woke, and then you've got the older ones that are keeping their mouth shut because they want to get their pension. And that's a massive divide.
I mean, it's a big problem. I mean, the police used to be the sort of go-to job for an ex-army guy. So if you came out of the army, a load of my mates joined the police when they come out of the army, and you know, because it was just like 1 for 1, you were swapping one uniform. But they don't want ex-soldiers anymore. They don't want them because they're considered to be too sort of aggressive, too right-wing or whatever. So that whole and the other thing is, what I noticed, I'm not sure whether it was actually when we were actually on the ground or whether it was watching it back on video, but a whole lot of these cops don't even speak English in the Met. They literally, they're struggling to put a sentence together in English.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is crazy. Let me just read these out. Sorry, Rich. Bob Hunter, thank you, mate. Paul, my cat gives you lots of love. Can I invite 10,000 cats per year into my country? I'd be so happy. Do you know what, Bob? I've got a strange little cat story for you. Since we've moved to Spain here, our 2 cats have taken to literally going out with my wife and the Rottweiler, and they follow her on the whole walk. And everybody that drives past gives it double take because they've never seen a Rottweiler walking with a cat either side. It's like he's their minder. Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Hazel. It is vitally important to have full context reading videos. Otherwise, we become as hypocritical as those we seek to criticise. Absolutely, Hazel. And that, I think that was important tonight, you know. So that police statement does seem, for me, to potentially clear that one up, or at least give more context to it. So, you know, I'm grateful that they've done that. It's important that they've done that. And that one is now out the way. The next one I want to get into.
Just on the police.
Yeah,
thing, Paul, you know, because Sarah was talking about this as well. I got into an altercation, I think it was 2021, and I managed to wander into the middle of a Hamas march, did a selfie, and then it all kicked off from there. Probably a bit stupid doing it on my own, but there you go. And
probably was, to be fair, Richard.
Yeah, probably was. But anyway, there was a bit of a sort of huddle gathered around me, and of these Muslim guys, and after it all calmed down, this little Asian cop came up to me and he showed his warrant card. He says, "Don't worry, I had your back, mate." He said, "I'm undercover." He actually said, I'm working undercover with these people. I went, "Oh, that's good. I feel a lot more confident with you saying that." I said, "Anyway," I says, how do you manage, you know, with all this Free Palestine garbage?" He says, "Oh no, I support all the Free Palestine stuff." He says, "I'm just undercover." So like, he was totally sympathetic to their cause, but he's working undercover. I thought that's a bit of a conflict of interest there, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of an oxymoron there. Yeah, absolutely. Yorkshire Tea, thank you. Hi, Paul. Can you pass this on to Richard, please? That's another tenner over you, Richard. Without him and others.
It's racking up, mate.
Behind the scenes that United Kingdom.
You got my account details, Paul.
Would not happen. I have. Yeah. Don't forget this tax and VAT to come out of that, Richard.
I've had I've had a UTK tattoo done.
Have you not? Have you really? Can you show us? Let's have a look. Where is? Oh, God, hold on a minute. Is it gone 9 o'clock? Let's have a look.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it.
Just about. I can see it's on your side, yeah?
Oh, it's there. It's little. I can't move any closer.
Has it healed up yet?
Yeah, nearly.
Nearly healed up. Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's dedication for you.
You'll have to get one.
You've got to get in there, Paul. I'm sorry.
I haven't got any more room. I'll have to find some room somewhere.
It's only little.
Yeah. Richard, that's more Richard than me, that.
What?
Only little.
Paul, I've seen you naked, mate. Don't.
Richard, we really shouldn't go down that route. Bob, thank you. Let's stand for the truth. Children of God reject hate. Absolutely. Look, cheers. Good chat. Thank you very much. And Eddie Lee. Richard, great comment. Starsy, Barbie, and Buzz Lightyear. Doppelganger shriek. Oh, dear.
Paul, that was just the first thing that came to mind. You know?
I've got some cards in the chat tonight. Look, oh dear, unbelievable. The next one I want to cover quickly is, you know, the video. I don't know if you guys have seen this issue that's going on with this councillor, Jeremy Newmark, or Jeremy No-Mark, I'm calling him actually, to be fair. Now, today, he's issued a grovelling apology.
Oh, brilliant.
But let me read it out. Hold on one sec. I've got it here somewhere. I'm so badly prepared, and hold on. I know where it is. Bear with me. So after all the fuss and drama over his statements, where he called you, me, just about everyone, I guess, Richard, he labelled us all as criminals, crooks, nonces, sex offenders, you name it. He pretty much labelled us. And there's a statement on the council website today says as follows: on Wednesday, leader of Hertsmere Borough Council, Councillor Jeremy No-Mark, made 2 sets of remarks to council about flags, identity and patriotism. Councillor Newmark had issued the following clarification, and it says, I quote, I accept that some of the language I used was wrong, and I'm sorry for that. I also accept that some people have ascribed a broader meaning to my words. I'm not quite sure how you can ascribe a broader meaning to the word nonsense, sex offenders. But anyway, I'll continue, and am very sorry about that indeed. That was not my intention. It does not reflect my views. And why did you bloody say it then? It goes on. My remarks came, this is the bit that gets me, ready? My remarks came against the backdrop of false claims by Tommy Robinson that our council is paying to house asylum seekers instead of local residents. So I haven't seen that.
Nope.
And I hope Councillor Newmark can dig up that quote from Tommy, because I think he's going to have to, by the way. He's going to have to find that, because he clearly says our council. Now, if Tommy did make remarks like that, then okay, fair enough. At least he can prove himself right that Tommy made those remarks. Whether he's right or wrong or not is a different issue. It then says, I'm proud to be a part of the Labour-led council that expresses patriotism by building decent homes, by ensuring no one is left behind, and creating good jobs and economic growth so that local people feel pride in their work. I'll tell you what, GPT is brilliant, isn't it? I am sorry that my remarks have been interpreted in the wrong way, and reaffirm my pride in our work to promote positive community relations in the Hertsmere. Councillor Jeremy Newmark signs it at the bottom. Now, the issues that I have with that, first of all, may I say on behalf of myself, and I think a lot of my viewers, that apology is not accepted and it's not good enough. He has felt the backlash. He has now realised that he can't go around calling people nonces and sex offenders. By the way, do you know where the word nonce comes from? Do you know where it comes from?
No.
It comes from a prison. It's not on normal courtyard exercise.
All right, okay.
Now, look, at the end of the day, as I said in the video the other day, sticks and stones and all that, right? But I've got to tell you that as a man, as a supporter of this movement, I wasn't there last week, but I know plenty of people that were. For him to describe those people as the organisers as sex offenders. Now, Richard, you were one of the organisers.
Yep.
And nonsense is just not good enough. You cannot apologise for those words. You have to resign, or you have to be fired from your post.
You would think so, Paul, but I mean, you know, it's the two-tier situation, you know, and that's what we're up against. I mean, I'm very offensive, Paul, but I'm not sexually offensive. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, it's disgusting. And I mean, the reality is, if Tommy had said that, Tommy would be in the libel court before his feet even touch the ground, right? So, you know, the fact I don't think. Well, I mean, obviously, our friend Noel is pushing this, Paul. I think Noel's got to keep pushing it.
Yeah. Well,
that wasn't an apology. He didn't even apologise for the language.
No, it was an excuse. He's trying to shift the blame onto Tommy. And what this man doesn't realise is he has stuck his foot into the patriotic pond. Yeah. He stepped into a realm that he doesn't understand. He doesn't realise the strength of feeling for Tommy, for the movement, for the group, for our friends. Yeah. And he doesn't understand the depth of support. And now, all of a sudden, he realises. Yeah. And he's sorry. He's sorry he's been caught doing it.
Absolutely.
That's what he's sorry about, in my opinion. I mean, Sarah, to call men, that's the worst thing that you can call a man. That's the thing
you do not. You know that there's a line and you do not cross it. And to call a man a nonce or a paedophile or anything like that is totally unacceptable. And as far as I'm concerned, I would like legal proceedings like put against him, because we all know what happened to Lucy Connolly. Yeah. She said something, she revoked it, and she apologised, and yet she went to prison. Yeah. But this man is, like you said, he's only apologized because of obviously the backlash. He doesn't mean he doesn't think what he said. Everything that comes out my mouth, I believe in what I'm saying. So that means he's still got them views. He's just trying to apologize to keep his job. And unfortunately, that's not good enough. He has to resign. And I would definitely, if that was me, if he'd made them statements about myself or someone close to me, I'd say, right, well, we're taking this all the way. Because people, this is the problem. People on, and I'd hate saying the left and the right, but we're going to say left or right, because it's either you've got right morals or wrong morals. People in that band, right, they're all right spouting off, but the minute it comes back to them, it's like, oh no, I didn't mean that, I'm sorry. The minute it's their job on the line, but they think that they can say whatever they want about any of us. And it's unacceptable, and they've all got to be called out. And I want to see consequences for these people.
Absolutely, Sarah.
Before they feel the consequences, they might keep their mouth shut. Because really, you do not call someone a nonce unless you've got good evidence. And he said that he knew that there's people in there that are sex offenders.
It's disgusting.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And I said the other day, look, this is exactly the type of rhetoric that leads to events like what happened last week in America.
Absolutely.
Because, look, Sarah, I know, we're all from similar backgrounds, right? And I tell you now, where I come from, if someone was a nonce, they better stay in or move.
Listen, they ain't getting a chance to move where we're from. Yeah. People, if you go back like East End, South East London, whatever, if you call someone a nonce, you better have good basis to say that, because their life ain't going to be worth living if they are living. Like, it's unacceptable. You do not do it. It causes it, like the cause that can happen, the effect that can happen from saying that is terrible. And he needs to lose his job, and he needs to be investigated, basically.
Well, I mean, it's defamation. So, I mean, apart from anything else, I mean, if anyone, wants to take, especially Tommy, because it was aimed at Tommy. He mentioned Tommy's name. He didn't mention any of the rest of our names, so we can't sue him unless you mention by name. You can't sue him. But the reality is, Tommy could sue him, and the fact that he said, accused people of being nonsense. Did he say specifically about Tommy? He's probably been clever enough not to say it specifically about anybody. but you know, he should definitely lose his job.
No, but what he did say was the organisers of the Raise the Colours.
Unite the Kingdom.
Yeah, so whilst he didn't actually name them, there's only so many organisers.
Yeah.
So the organisers of that Raise the Colours campaign, he was directing that at them.
Well,
and he called them nonces.
I know the guy that started one of the guys that started the Raise the Colours thing.
So do I.
And I wouldn't call him a nonce. No. Not in a million years. You know what I mean?
No, and I'll tell you something else as well. As dirty as, you know, look, I'll tell you something, right? I've known some lads in the past that have had some pretty serious beefs, right? But they don't put it out that the other one's a nonce. That's below any belt that you can find.
Totally.
And, you know, this man clearly comes from a background where he just doesn't understand what he's saying or the people he's dealing with or how badly they are going to take it.
Yeah.
You know, he hasn't...
Big, have they?
No, he hasn't called him a bounder or a cad or a jolly rotten chap. You know, he's gone in full whack. Terrible. Let's have a little look, Sarah and Richard. Now we got obviously your campaign down in Epping there, and we'll get onto that a little bit later. But the people of Clacton are also hot on the case down there, and they've got a big issue with. Mr. Farage. Now, I think it was Friday or Saturday, one of our lads, John, was down in Clacton and he interviewed the following father and son. This is well worth a little listen to. Let's have a look at this.
It's Saturday and I'm lucky enough to bump into what I can only describe as the best father and son in Clacton. And they took the time out on a Saturday to come out, and we've canvassed Nigel Farage's whole street, including his house. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to ask you two beautiful gentlemen why you've given me your time today and helped me out on this.
As I said to you earlier, you can't be behind your computer. You need to get out and voice your opinions. Nigel Farage ain't in Clacton unless there's a fire or something where he can get
photo opportunity.
He's not interested. He's not interested. Ben Habib is the man, and it's as simple as that. We all sort of fell for Farage's broken promises, and everybody sussed him out.
That's superb.
And had him up to our back teeth with him.
What changes have you seen in the town? I mean, apart from all the stickers, all the Islamic stickers that have been stuck in the churches, and the flashing.
Sharia law stickers.
Yep.
Stickers
Where are they? They're all in the churches along the seafront.
Along the seafront. Flags been torn down.
Defecating.
How many barber shops are supposed to be in?
Oh my God! Yeah.
And now rumour has it there's a mosque opening up where the QD store used to be.
Yep.
I mean, absolutely disgraceful.
And also a couple of properties that have been bought by some rich gentlemen Muslim gentlemen in Tower Hamlets that have gone unopposed and now going to be opened up as HMOs.
Yeah.
And it's we weren't, they've gone unopposed, so it's too late to.
No one's had a voice in it.
No one's had a voice in it.
No.
So what we're thinking, Nigel Farage is great, he's earning the big bucks on GB News. You won't see Ben on there for reasons I can't go into, but Nigel's earning all that money on GB News, travelling around the world, getting paid for that, right? Yeah, I think that. Once he got his seat in Clacton, I think it was days that they closed that surgery down.
That's it.
It's never been open. It's never been open.
Yeah. My wife sent him an email this week, voicing her opinion, how disgusted she feels, and that we've all been let down. Still waiting to reply.
Yep, and the women last night saying that they won't go out of an evening because there's along the front, the gardens of Clacton along the seafront are beautiful, and there's migrants defecating in the bushes, urinating in the bushes and exposing themselves to women. And that young girl that said that they were banging on her car window and she had her trying to get in. Lucky she just got to the lock button on her car before they tried to get in, and she had her child in the back. Well, this DOJ unit that Nigel Farage has got, I think it's an absolute brilliant idea. It's worked for Donald Trump, yeah, okay. But why is he using it everywhere else apart from home? Doesn't charity start at home?
It starts at home.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, clearly Starmer's got to go.
Starmer's got to go. Starmer's got to go. Starmer's got to go.
What we all see there the other week, the diaries that the police were handing out in Clacton, not to come into Clacton on your own.
That's
not
right.
to wear excessive jewellery, not to have excessive cash on you.
That's it.
And give an estimated time when you're due home.
Exactly
during
that.
the day.
Exactly that. Yeah.
You know, absolutely disgraceful the way that town's fallen.
Well, there's no money in Clacton. There's no work in Clacton. We all know it's seasonal work only. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. If you're lucky to have a job in Clacton, you have to travel for it. Yeah. So they're bunging them all down here, and they're cleverly sticking them in HMO. So we can't just look at one hotel and turn around and say, "Well, look, that's full up." Right. Okay. They've been clever here. Right. Okay. The way they've done it, but. You know, we demonstrate outside the town hall, yeah, okay, and we look into that town hall, we look through the doors, and we know the answers are in there. All Farage has got to do is send a DOJ unit in there, okay, and start asking questions. Get some answers, right, okay. The questions we want, yeah, okay, how many of them are here? Why are they here? When can you get rid of them? How quick can you get rid of them? And when can we turn around and say to our women and our children, you're safe enough to walk along the seafront?
But do you know, more importantly, John, what about getting down to staying with us on a Friday?
Wouldn't it be lovely?
Wouldn't
it be just once? Just once. People are called. Do you know what they're calling him? What are they calling him? The Phantom.
The Phantom.
The Phantom. The Phantom. Phantom Farage.
Yeah. You know, it's disgraceful. You know, I've fallen for it like a lot of people for his.
Mate, you said to me earlier, right? You know, you fell for it, right? Okay, you felt like you got taken, but you never, right? Okay, you're a good man. I know you're a good man. I know your boy's a good lad as well. Yeah, okay. I wouldn't be, I wouldn't have time for you otherwise. Yeah, okay. I got taken in, right? We got taken in by loyalty to the country.
Yeah.
And do you know what, right? Okay, we honestly thought we were going to make a change. I spoke to my friends in Dagenham and Romford and all, Walthamstow, all people that I've worked alongside, right? And I laughed. I said, "We've got Nigel Farage. Nothing's going to happen here."
Yeah.
Couldn't have been further from the truth. Couldn't have been further from the truth.
And utterly let down.
Exactly.
But as I said, if you're watching this, Nigel, maybe creep down at 7 o'clock any Friday and just show your support for your country.
If not. I'll get Ben down here.
This man's coming down.
I'll get Mr. Habib down here.
Instead of turning up when there's a big fire in the town, so you can stay in there with the old Clacton Gazette.
Yeah, come and see your people. Come and see your people.
With not racist or right-wing people, but good people every Friday.
Yeah, not far right, just right.
Just right. Simple as that.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Thank you for your time.
All the best.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
I mean, oh blimey, where do you start with that one? They can't walk around in Clacton with any jewellery, or you got to tell people what time you're going to be home and what time you're expected home. I mean, it's just unbelievable, isn't it?
Paul, this is happening in every single town and city up and down the whole of the United Kingdom. It's happening in Northern Ireland. I was at the protest in Ballymena. They're trying to get them back in. All those scummy gangsters that they put out 2 months ago, they're trying to sneak them back into the town. You know, the police are against the people, you know. And like the reality is, I've seen protests. Do you know what? If everybody did a protest at exactly the same time and exactly the same in their local area where the hotels are on the same day, and just said, right, we're going to stay here, the police won't be able to cope with it until these people are gone. The police wouldn't be able to cope with it, you know. And that's what the police have got to realise, and that's what the government got to realise. Policing's by consent. We had 1 million people on the pavement in London on Saturday, right? At least 1 million people, and the police couldn't cope with it. Now, every single person, apart from the odd 2 or 3 that ran up the police lines, every single person there behaved themselves properly, and policing by consent worked. But all it takes is that crowd to suddenly say, no, we're not going to play your game anymore. And the police have got to realise that. You know, I still keep going back to it, Paul. The anti-terrorist branch pulling me, pulling Tommy, pulling Danny. It's just completely unacceptable, and that needs to be scrutinised. That, you know, putting people in HMOs in somewhere like Clacton is absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, and they're doing it in every single. And do you know what the sneaky thing about the HMOs is? They're very difficult to find because there's maybe 4 or 5 in one of these houses. Very, very difficult to find. Whereas a hotel, you know where you're going, you know where you're protesting. And also, if you go and protest outside an HMO, you know for a fact they're gonna hit you or something. The old bill will have some law that they can actually use to stop you protesting outside them. So it's what's happening is so sinister. But all we can do is, like John was saying there, is get behind Advance UK. We can't trust Reform. We can't trust Farage. We need something completely new. And that's, we know what we've got to do, but it's just getting everybody to do it.
Yeah. Hazel says, is anyone going to the Advance UK launch event next weekend? Sarah, I mean, look, Epping, Clacton, same sort of problems, very similar people. I mean, what's the situation down your way at the moment? What's the latest?
Well, we had another protest today. We've made our protest earlier now because it's getting dark, obviously a lot earlier, and for safety reasons, because we marched from the Bell Hotel all the way down to the council offices. We wanted to make sure everyone's safe, especially because there's children there as well. But I don't know if you heard, but this week there was 2 illegal migrants broke into the school grounds at Davenant School, which is a secondary school. Yeah. It's not far from Epping. It's not in Epping, but it's not far. Now, there was 2 men and the alarm was raised by students. So that's how we found out, because students had been made aware, their parents had taken photos and so forth. So that night we said, right, flash protest outside Loughton police station. We then find out that out of the 2, only 1 was arrested. So that raised alarms, because we was like, well, hang on, they've both broken onto school property. Then we find out that he wasn't actually arrested. He was detained. And the reason why he was detained was because he'd broken his bail conditions. So hold on a minute. The reason you ain't arrested the other guy is because you weren't arresting either of them on breaking into school grounds. So when we went to the police station, he'd been released within under 3 hours, I believe. Now, if you look at, I was detained for 24 hours. This guy has broken his bail conditions. Plus, he's apparently homeless. So I've never known anyone to be released when they've got no fixed abode. They know he's living rough. So then the following day, so we're outside the police station that night. And I said, well, what was his previous offence? Because had he broken into a school previously? We can't discuss that. I said, yeah, but yet you was happy enough to let everybody know what I done. Yeah. And you were happy enough to dox my address. I said, now you won't tell us what this guy done. What if he does it again tomorrow? Lo and behold, 10 o'clock the next morning, I receive a phone call. A school has gone into complete lockdown at Waltham Abbey. So I raced there to document it, and I've done a live feed. The head teacher was standing outside. All the gates were locked. The blinds were pulled. And we was told by parents, there was a large a congregation of parents outside the school. And they said to me, our children have been told to get under the tables. Now, I've had people getting in touch with me going, you're spreading misinformation, that's lies, children wouldn't be hiding under tables. But there is a procedure in this country.
Absolutely, there is, yeah.
Sleeping lions. Yep. And when people say to me that I'm lying, I went, okay, well, did you speak to the young girl tonight who come from that school, who told me that, yes, she was under the desk and yes, she was scared? Because I was saying when I was reporting it was, we're all okay outside here. I'm not a parent, but there's a lot of adults that are parents. We all know them children are safe. The man's not here. The helicopter's up. He's done a runner. So we all know they're safe. But them kids didn't know what was going on outside. They had been told, one lot apparently had been told there was a deer outside. They didn't know what was going on. They was told it was windy outside. They was being kept in. But some of them had been told there was a man outside, because one of the boys called his mum and said, Mum, please come and get me. There's a man outside our building and I don't know what's going to happen. Now, the older children would remember what happened last year to them 3 poor girls.
Absolutely.
They would remember them stories. So mentally, that man has caused a problem. Now, we're being told by the police, oh, he hasn't done anything wrong. And this is where it goes back to misinformation of the police. They dumb it down. So then other people in the community say, well, the police they wouldn't lie. He hasn't done anything. I had someone say it was only one man. Well, it was only one man that killed them girls. It only takes one man to attack and do a massacre. And this is the problem. Why has he targeted lots of schools? And then I find out that my son's school, which is in Chigwell, it's called West Hatch, also had a separate man go to that school and was removed from the premises? Why is it that they're all attacking schools?
What are even, Sarah, what are they even doing there? What are they even doing there?
And these schools are far away. Someone said, oh, well, he's hungry. He was found going through the bins. No, he wasn't found going through the bins. And why did he go all the way from Epping to Waltham Abbey? You'd never do that walk. If you're hungry, go to a high street. Plus, this man's been seen at the food bank every single week. So they're talking utter nonsense. And the police need to, like when I've said to them, well, you know, do you not think that he should have been arrested? No, because it's a civil matter. It's a trespass. I said, so the schools didn't press charges then? So why are the schools not pressing charges? Because if I was a head teacher, I'd say, hold on a minute. This man has been loitering about through like lots of schools. I need to be the one to put a stop to this because he may go on to reoffend. And let's face it, it could be an attack waiting to happen. And them head teachers, if they haven't done anything, on their heads be it if he goes on to commit a crime, if they haven't done what they can. And to say, oh, it's just trespass, I'm sorry.
No, that's not good enough, is it, Sarah? I mean, look, here's the thing, right? My initial reaction to that is, first of all, it should be an offence for an adult to be trespassing on a school premises during school hours. That should be a specific offence. Now, I don't know about you, Richard, but I don't remember the last time I went creeping around a school any time of the day or night, right? And I don't know anyone that does either.
We had something similar about a month ago in the town I live in, and the guy was, by his name, he was from Fulani background. The Fulani are jihadists, not all of them obviously, but a lot of them are jihadists. They've been massacring people in Nigeria for the past 30 years. And this guy had been wandering around my town with knives, trying to lure kids towards him with knives, hiding. The police couldn't find him. 9 days he was on the run in an area no bigger than, I don't know, than Clacton, right? 9 days he's on the run. A call went out on the Wednesday that he was in one of the estates. All the lads, my son-in-law included, went out to the estate to try and find him. Again, luckily for him, he slipped through the net. The next day, a SWAT team arrested him in the middle of town. So when people actually started taking action, the police weren't long in actually getting their asses together and basically finding the guy. But before that happened, and they've been called numerous times. And again, obviously, I'll not say anything about the guy's name or what he's been arrested for, but he's remanded at the minute. But that could have been another Southport. That, you know, this is the thing, and I think what the state has to realise is, if there's another Southport, all bets are off. All bets are off. Everything changes. You know, there's not going to be 1 million people in London peacefully, but there's going to be 1 million people in London. Do you know what I mean?
You know, we're playing into their hands because they're letting all of these men flood our country, and then they're going to allow them to cause these problems, and then they'll go, oh, digital ID will save you. And people will go, oh, yes, please, we need digital ID.
I don't think people will, though, Sarah. I think everybody's awake now. Or, I mean, well, no, there's still some...
I don't know about everyone, Richard.
The other night, after this, what happened, we've done a flash protest at Loughton again. Yeah. This is after he'd been found the second time. Yeah. And we still don't actually know what's happened because they said, well, get your freedom of information, apply for that. Well, why can't you tell us? Because this community is on boiling point and you could stop us from erupting. I've gone into a shop opposite. Woman practically tries to attack me. You're scaring my children. I went, who's scaring your kids? We're peacefully protesting. I said, did your kid call you from a school hiding underneath a desk today? She went, well, my friends are migrants. I said, you don't.
What's that got to do with it? What the hell was that got to do with it?
I've got friends that have got a multicultural background. I don't label them as migrants. So you're talking absolute crap. And I'd like to see who was actually at your wedding and who's at your kids' parties, because I guarantee you no one from a multicultural background was at anything to do with her. They fly these accusations at. She ain't got a clue what she's going on about, but wanted to attack me because I'm there peacefully protesting and flying our national flag, which is deemed to be racist. That's her problem. They haven't got the brains they was born with. And, you know, I just go, when is this going to stop? You have got people that are attacking us. It's not as often as I've it would have been probably 2-3 years ago. But they still need to wake up.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They really do.
I mean, the left. I mean, we've seen that with Charlie Kirk. The left are evil.
Yeah.
Sorry, we used to say, "Oh, it's not a left-right issue." No, it is a left-right issue. The communists, the socialists, they are absolute wrong-uns. Same as the Islamists, and we just got to call a spade a spade. I'll tell you something else, and this is not rumor. This is nailed on. It was in some of the supposed mainstream papers that ISIS have called on young Muslims in the UK to attack Jews and Christians.
They have.
That's what they've said. Now that means everybody that's not a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
That was in the papers today. So that's like, so are you telling me that some of these nutcases in these hotels will not be looking at that going, oh yeah, come on Abdul, come on Mohammed, we're going to get down and do some jihad,
I mean, here's the thing, Sarah, first, sorry, Sarah. First of all, I mean, what you were saying about the lockdown, my own grandchildren have been locked down in school recently.
Yeah.
Under the table. Same, exactly the same. And the second thing is, I'm hearing that parents are now keeping their kids off of school in that area. Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. Quite a few people have kept their children off. I kept my son off. I mean, my youngest is in his last year of secondary. So I think the real risk is for people like kids in primary schools. But I don't know if any of you's heard the conspiracy theories that was going around during the 6 weeks holidays that there is going to be a planned attack on our schools.
Yeah,
and
we heard that.
Seem as if, well, is this playing out? Are they going to schools to eye them up to see which ones are easy to get into and which ones aren't? Which ones can we target easily and cause? Because they openly said it, that they want to kill all non-Muslims. And that is, we've seen across the world, they're slaughtering Christians,
Totally.
And they are, but none of this is being documented. None of it's on mainstream media. They don't want to report that because all they want to report is, let these people come
the usual waffle. Yeah.
And it's just unacceptable. They want to report on Hamas, but they don't want to report on what's really going on across the world.
Oh, absolutely.
3,000 people watching tonight. Thank you very much. If you haven't already done so, please give us a thumbs up. That would be really helpful. Bob says, love is my drug and my cat loves unconditionally. They do, mate. Hazel, thank you so much. Excited to be attending the Advance UK launch event next weekend. Vote at Advance UK. Jimbo's a new member. And Bob again, thank you. This is my country and my cat's country. No one will eat me or my dog. I am a patriot. And I love my country, Ireland, Wales, England and Scotland. Well said, Bob. Now, talking about schools.
Well, just before that, Paul, can we talk? Let's put some legs on because it's all right. People say, oh, well, you're always saying that this is happening, that's happening. In the last 30 days, right? Yeah. In the last 30 days, there's been 122 Islamic, whatever you want to call them, attacks in 18 countries. 624 people have been killed and 541 have been injured. And that's not including what's happening in Gaza, right? So that is fact, right? And it's not Buddhists doing this. It's not Hindus. It's not Sikhs. It's not Nigerian Christians. It's not West Indians. It's not Chinese people. We know who's doing it, right? And the fact that we cut that on these ridiculous channels, we can't even mention that because we'll get vaporized. By the way, Gavin McGuinness is back on X, Paul.
Is he?
Yeah, he got his X account back today, so he's over the moon.
I'm just reading a report that's coming in that is dreadful. I cannot read it out because it hasn't been confirmed. But
give us a clue, Paul.
It's about an assassination live on TikTok. A Christian preacher.
The thing is, Christians do not want non-Christians to be murdered. Jews do not want non-Jews to be murdered. Exactly. Sikhs do not want non-Sikhs to be murdered. However, people who are following, that are terrorists and they are Islamic, the extremists, yeah. Because it's not obviously all Muslims, but the extremists, like an extremist Catholic does not want someone who's a non-Catholic to die. But
Exactly,
the extremists of Islam want us all to die. That's
Exactly.
it. So
Exactly.
we should not have anybody in this country who is an extremist.
Exactly. All extremists need to be.
Paul, it's not all. I'm sorry, and this is where I'm annoyed. I get annoyed about. It's not all extremists. Like Sarah said, if you're a Catholic extremist, you go to mass too much. If you're, an evangelical extremist, you read the Bible all day.
Yeah, Richard.
It's only Islam. It's only Islamic extremism that causes the problem.
Extremists, we want them deported.
Yeah, look, when I say all extremists, Richard, I'm going to stick to that. And I'll tell you why, because when someone went out there, for example, and murdered Joe Cox, that's an extremist. I don't want that happening either. I don't want any extremism.
But they are so rare, Paul.
Yes, they are. You're absolutely right. But an extremist is an extremist.
Well, I don't agree.
Okay, that's fine.
I do think all the left are suffering with mental illness.
Absolutely. It's like a virus.
But there's lefty extremists as well. Yeah, that's true.
Well, look at what happened to Charlie Kirk, because he was pro-life, anti-abortion, and pro-Christianity. You cannot murder someone who is willing to debate about anything and peacefully. And he welcomed people to debate. He didn't belittle them. He was more intelligent than the majority of them. And he still welcomed them to come and debate with him. How can you want to kill someone for that?
Unbelievable. Richard, just going back to that, we're not going to kick off live on air, but what you said earlier on about what we must report the truth and we must be fair. Yeah. Extremism, my point is that violent extremism is not acceptable from anyone. Now, if one people, for example, in this case, the left or the Islamic extremists are doing the majority of it, that's as may be. But at the same time, if one of our lot went out and did something like that happened to Charlie Kirk last week, I'm going to denounce that.
But of course, but that's the difference. That's the point. That's the difference, Paul. I mean, it's so rare. I mean, look, we know there's the goose-stepping Nazi racist pricks, right? We hate them, that they're wrong-uns. We know there's the far left, Antifa, they're wrong-uns. But the people that are 90% of terrorist attacks in the last 20 years since 9/11 are coming from Islamic extremism.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. We could have been having this conversation in 1968 to 1998, and we'd been saying, the vast majority of terrorism is coming from Republican, IRA, INLA lunatics, right? And that would have been a fact, right? But at the moment,
terrorists though as well, wasn't they?
Not really.
No,
I wouldn't go down that rabbit hole, Richard. I really wouldn't. I'll tell you what, we're gonna move on, right? Nikki talks. I have a family member who works in a nursery. They practice lockdowns. They even have to train babies to be quiet. Unbelievable. It shouldn't be this way. I mean, it really, really shouldn't be like that, should it? That is terrible. Laurie N says, can't get the Keir Starmer's a wanker song out of my head. That's exactly what my wife says. She says that bloody song is driving me mad. Incidentally, I've had a message from Danny, Richard, and he says, don't blame the messenger, right? He says, Richard is definitely using Just for Men.
Not true. Never put any unnatural product on my hair in my life, ever. I don't even wash my hair.
Well, if he is, he's missed the sides.
That's the whole point. Yeah. This is the whole point, you see. They can't understand why I've got a grey beard and there's a little bit of brown on the top, but it's not as brown as it looks. It's just the lighting. It's doing me a favour.
He who is brave is free. Absolutely. Let's have a look. Whilst we're talking about schools, I said earlier on in the week that it's my opinion that all parents, part of their duties as a parents these days, is to do a little bit of research on who's teaching their kids at school. I mean, I'm sure we've all been guilty in the past. We take our kids to school, we say hello to a smiling teacher, we wave the kids, see you later, and that's it. We think they're in safe hands. Or we put our faith in the school, in the teachers. But what we do know now is that a lot of these teachers, and obviously not all of them, but a lot of these teachers are using their positions in schools and colleges and universities to inflict their own ideology and their own left-wing activism on the students. Now, Steve Bannon said something earlier on that I thought was absolutely spot on. For some reason, I can't seem to find it on screen. Let me see if I've got it. Hold on 1 second. There you go. Look, I'm not organised today. Let me just get it up. Hold on 1 sec. And I think he's absolutely right. Let's get this one up.
Festering sore is the universities coming up the culmination of the way your children have been, the propaganda they've been fed by very evil people. And that is what we now have to do. We have to use school boards, we have to use legislation, and all these people coming and attacking Charlie and his memory, they all must be fired, they all must be terminated. The great thing about our movement is the peaceful nature of the way we use power.
So what he's saying there is that all these teachers that have been celebrating the demise of Charlie Kirk need to be fired from their jobs, and I agree entirely. Anyone that encourages or glorifies in that sort of thing has no place in our schools and colleges, in my opinion. And it's been rife in America. I wonder what that situation is like in the UK. But you know, my advice to parents is keep your eyes on what your kids are being taught.
Mm.
The problem is, Paul, you know, a lot of kids are spending so much time in the education system, and they're spending more time with these loony lefty teachers than they are with the parents, and then it's causing a massive conflict. You know, it's like, you know, I radicalized my kids when they were in the cradle, so they were all right. You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is, it's like, you know, a lot of if you're a busy parent, you're working, you're trying to provide a living, you're not expecting your kid to be getting its head full of absolute garbage at school, which is totally, you know, beyond.
Richard, I've got a good friend right now whose daughter started university about 6 or 8 months ago.
Yep.
And he said to me, Sarah, right, that she went in a perfectly normal, brilliant, vibrant, friendly young girl. Within 6 to 8 months, I can't remember, it was either 6 or 8 months, she's come out angry and is talking like Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
And she's been there 6 to 8 months. What is going on? What changes? I mean, this is almost our kids almost being radicalized.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of peer pressure as well, because you've got to understand that it's not just the teachers, is it? And it's not just what they're learning. You've got a lot of people that send their children to school that also believe everything that, say, Jeremy Corbyn says. So I'm very lucky. My children are just like me. They've got the same views, and I'm a single parent family, and they have, you know, they might even have people say to them, oh, you don't know what you're going on about. Your mum's a nutter. But thank God they haven't been indoctrinated by the system. They're all obviously quite strong-willed, but there is a massive problem, and the schools, we need to attack the education system. It needs to be, because this is where they're being indoctrinated. This is where that people think it's acceptable to glorify in Charlie Kirk's death and things like that. It's not acceptable, but it's because it's being instilled into them in these centres, basically. And we need to look at the education system. But until the Labour government are out of power, what can we do?
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, even the teachers who don't agree with what they're teaching, they still teach it because they want their pay packet, because they've got mortgages to pay. Me personally, I would say I'm not teaching that to these kids. But that's because of me. And we have seen teachers turn around and say, I'm not doing this. I'm not putting up with it no more. And they've been fired because as a result of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, but it takes a vast majority of these people to turn around and go, you know what, enough is enough. I need to be on the right side of history, and I need to teach the truth. And unfortunately, for people like you've just said, what do you do? Because then her parents must be looking and thinking, what's going to happen to our daughter? Because they all of a sudden have got completely different views and outlooks. They're going to be arguing all the time about different issues and what's going on around the world, because she's now obviously got a completely different outlook.
He says he feels like he's lost his daughter. She's come out a completely different person. You know,
virus, isn't it?
6 or 8 months in uni.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's where the likes of Charlie Kirk comes in, because what I mean, and you know, he's gonna he's going to probably change more people's minds in his death than he could have ever done while he was alive, because he's everywhere now, and he is going to be. He's going to be like Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, he's going to be like iconic, you know. And what Bannon said there was the big thing. Bannon said, this, I think, is a big takeaway, is we do it all peacefully, and that's, you know, using power peacefully. You know, whereas the left, they just want to use power to push what they're trying. And this is a real this is a civilizational struggle we're in, and literally we've got 2029. If we don't win something big in 2029, whatever that looks like, whether it's, you know, advance or reform or Conservative Party advance, reform altogether, whatever, restore, all of these things have got, something has to happen. But the reality is, if we don't get a solution, then there is no peaceful solution. That's the sad thing. It's like there's, because we can't have another 5 years of either a wet Conservative government, Lib Dem Conservative or Lib Dem.
Look, Richard, I think we have to face facts. I think we have to. I mean, you know me. I'm always trying to calm things down and talk this. But there's time when you just got to say it for as it is.
Yeah.
If we don't get the right result at the next general election, this country hasn't got. It's going to blow.
There will be a civil war.
Yeah.
There will be a civil war.
Yeah.
Because that is what they're basically, if that's what seems like they're heading towards. Now, you can feel the tension with people who I would never have thought would be at protests are all coming up to me, people who I know, and they're like, I've had enough. This is it. And they're people who I would have thought would have been quite woke. Like if you was to look at them 2 years ago, and even them, they are turning. But enough is enough. But it's the more this government is ruining this country, it is only pushing people to incite a civil war.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, Sarah, like, it's not even just this government, it's the Conservative government before them, because all the legislation this government's using, the Conservatives, the internet harms legislation, the mass migration, that was all
ruined this country in the last 9 months. We've got Conservative to blame for the last 14 years. You don't
and then Labour before that.
Like this.
Yeah. You know, we've had 30 odd years of this with Blair and then Cameron and all the rest of them, you know, and Boris Johnson, you know, and that's why there has to be a complete cleaning of house. And it's, even if we actually win, there's still going to be problems, because there's going to be a lot of pushback from the deep state.
Richard, in the old days, back in the 80s, we used to call it a Queen's Way. You got to be a certain age to remember this, but we used to call it a Queen's Way. We need a massive clear out.
Yeah.
Now, you may not remember that saying from the advert, but there you go. David Lund, thank you very much. We are lost. This can't last till the next election. Bob, thank you. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. And the last super of the night, please, guys. Thank you. David Lund again. Where was the vote for our kids to be taught the 5 pillars of Islam? Well, exactly. There wasn't one, was there?
Yeah.
I mean, my son come home and told me in history he was learning about medieval Baghdad. And I was like, what on earth has gone on with history? Teach them about British history and then go on. And I believe you should have a good knowledge about everywhere around the world. But to actually spend a term learning about medieval Baghdad, I'm sorry, that's just unacceptable.
And do you know what that's for? That's just because you know, they've been pushing the idea that Baghdad was this great seat of Islamic learning. So it's to sanitize Islam. That's why they're doing that. It's as simple as that.
What they should do is teach people about how Iran was like London in the 1970s and look at how the demise of it and what it's turned into now, and look and go, this was history. This is what's happening here in the UK. Yeah. So future generations need to know about the past. Yeah, I agree with that.
Exactly.
What I would love to see, our schools going back to teaching it. I mean, when I went to school, our teachers taught us to be proud of who we are, where we come from. They talked about our glorious history, what we've done for the world, instead of what we did to the world, what we've done for the world. To be proud of our forefathers, to be proud of our families, you know, and to be proud to be British.
Yeah, the thing is, Paul, when you were at school, I was a bit different because I'm a bit younger than you. But when you were at school, a lot of the people that were teaching in your school had first-hand experience of the Napoleonic Wars.
Oh, very funny, Richard, honestly. Who needs Mickey Flanagan when you got Richard, eh? Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Couldn't resist that one, Paul. But they did have, in all seriousness, right? when I was at school and when you were at school, we had a lot of teachers that fought in the Second World War, 100%.
Yeah.
And they could talk about it because they were there, you know what I mean?
British and proud to like fly our flag.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And kids was allowed to be applauded for taking part in sports day and coming first. Now it's no, we all come first. We're a team. No, you're not a team. We all race. Someone's good at running and someone's good at maths. Applaud the kids. And then like we all used to sit in assembly, cross our legs and sing like, you know, broad beans and kumbaya and whatever else we used to sing. And it was instilling the Christian faith into this country, which we should all be proud of.
Sarah, I grew up, believe it or not, back in the day when I grew up, we used to sing Onward Christian Soldiers.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine seeing that now in assembly. I mean, you'd be arrested, wouldn't you?
There'd be a race riot, wouldn't there? Be a riot. There'd be
Dear oh Lord. Right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I mean, Sarah, I think you've done an amazing job for your show debut, as it were. I know we did an interview last week. Will you come back?
100%. I'll come back every night if you want me.
Richard, you're sacked.
I know, Paul. Well, this is it. You know what I mean?
I took your slot at the.
You took my slot on the stage. Took my slot on Paul Thorpe's show. That's it. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what it is, Richard. I'm like GB News, mate. You see, you know, when there's certain people come in and out of style. So I think we'll get rid of Danny. Shall we push Danny out? Bless him.
Well, listen. No, I'm not going to cancel. Listen, Tommy's cancelled me. You've cancelled me, Paul. You know.
I'm going to grasp. Should we end the show? I don't know if Danny's watching, but should we end him with a real grass up? Should I grass Danny up something wrong tonight?
Yeah, go on.
Go on then.
So he's got his father-in-law over for the week, who is younger than Danny. That is funny, isn't it? Eh? Danny, if you're watching, bro, sorry, mate.
Mates like you, Paul.
I've got no room to talk. My boy's dad is younger than my mum.
My God.
Older than my mum, I mean.
Older than your mum, right?
Yeah, it's not good.
Let's have a look. We've got a couple more here. Sorry. Thank you, Hazel. Schools are no longer teaching critical thinking. It's all brain dead conformity. Then they go off to uni and are brainwashed by lefties. Absolutely. And last one from Bob. Cheers, Bob. He's on his cats tonight. My cat's history. I love cats and dogs and humanity. I love me cats and me dogs too. Right, guys, I think that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for coming on. As always, Richard, you've been an absolute superstar. Mate, me and you keep falling out on lives lately.
It's great. That's what people come back for, Paul. They like the punch up, you know what I mean? It's like the squaring up before the big fight, isn't it? You know.
Exactly, yeah. Sarah, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. I'll play the intro and then we'll say our goodbyes. Look after yourselves, everyone. Have a great week. Be careful wherever you are. And as always, make sure you look after those beautiful children. They are our future. See you soon, everyone.
See you soon.